Welcome back to Teaching Jobs Korea, and today we have a special episode for everyone. And today joining me is a teacher whom I had the pleasure to work with for the past few years and also get to know. And also he's agreed to join us today to just give us some insight about his experience about living and working in Korea. And please meet Irving Asensio Pigman, right?
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right, Irving. Well, it's good to meet you. Well, I know it's good to finally see you.
Yeah, we haven't met face to face before.
I guess just to start off, give us like a basic background about who you are.
My name is Irving. I'm originally from Seattle, 27 years old, and I've been living in Korea and teaching in Korea for about 3.5 years now.
Yeah, I know. I remember, and the way that you came into Korea when you first came out, right? Mm-hmm. You came in like a non-conventional way, because most people would just kind of put their resume somewhere at like a recruiter.
Yes.
And then they would just get contacted, set up an interview, right? But you first took the TEFL program.
Yes, I went through like a partnered teaching program that gave me all the certifications I need and helped me get the documents a lot easier. It made that process very smooth, and then they connected me with you.
Yeah, if you are ever looking for like a place to do like TEFL before you come out, we do recommend Explore Asia. They're not sponsored by me or nothing, but just the teachers that they've been recommending, it's very good teachers, and obviously you're a perfect example of that, right? So you've been in Korea now for what? It's going on your third year.
3.5 years.
I guess, how was it when you first, do you remember when you first came out here?
I remember when I first came out here, it was very nerve-wracking, but not necessarily nervous. It was more just excitement. Like, coming to Korea, it was something I've always wanted to do since like middle school. I had plans to just come out and just visit after university, but then I thought, there's nothing going on right now, so might as well take the opportunity to try something different. And I just stuck with it. I love it here, and usually people just do like 1 year and they're done, but after 1 year, I feel like I just was getting comfortable. Second year rolls around, okay, I'm having a little bit of fun. Third year, now I love it.
Now you're Korean. You even dress like a Korean.
Yeah,
right?
My style has completely changed.
I guess when you first came out here, how did you like first get interested in teaching in Korea? How did you like find out about teaching here?
I found out about teaching actually because my mother's coworker, after she finished university, she did teaching abroad in France. And for me, I'm a really big gamer. I love, for example, like Faker, T1, LCK, all that. And so I just wanted to be here a long time, and I studied English, might as well use the degree. And so, yeah, and that's kind of how I figured it out. I just quick Google search, and that's how I found it.
Did you do like some research about Korea and kind of learn about the culture, the landscape, or did you just kind of jump into it?
I did. I kind of studied just by watching videos after I've started gathering the documents, doing just a little bit of research, but I kind of came in pretty blind. I knew what I was interested in, so that's what I wanted to focus on. But yeah, as far as that, I went pretty blind, and I actually think it was better for me.
Yeah, I think when I first spoke to you, you were very open about things, right? And then the position that you went into was an afternoon to evening shift where you taught elementary, right?
Yes.
How long did you stay at that Hagwon for?
I stayed at that specific branch for 1 year, but I stayed with that company for a little more than 3 years. I moved around a little bit, just based on the necessities and the needs of the company. But overall, I think it was a very positive experience.
It was a very big company too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you were working with just like the elementary. When you first came in, I guess your perception of teaching to when you actually came in and what the reality was it pretty much on par, or was there a lot of things that you kind of had to adjust to?
All the expectations I came in with completely went out the window. I thought I had an idea of what I could do because of the certifications I did, but when you go into the classroom, even you do all this background stuff, it doesn't matter. You have to completely learn the system based on the students and the levels and the ages.
Was that like the first time having like an actual like student-teacher interaction?
Yes, the first day of class, that was it. They gave me the books, they gave me what I was supposed to teach, and you kind of just gotta just figure it out. Everyone does it a little bit differently, but I think as a new teacher, I just had to listen and actually try a few different things. You look at who is actually popular in the Kagwon. Who do the kids like? And then you kind of talk to them, see what does well for them, and then kind of imitate, take a little bit of from different places.
I think that's what you first have to do when you don't have any teaching experience, right? You mimic, and then you customize.
Definitely.
And then you kind of find your teaching like method.
Yes.
And your teaching like rhythm in the classroom, right? But that does take a lot of time, just from my personal experience of teaching. And I think a lot of that has to do with, it takes time to understand the students and the age group, and then also you have to learn, then you have to understand the structure of what you're teaching, and then after that it's just basically repetitious, right?
Yeah, I think my beginning was very unconventional. I did like half a semester because I came in during the middle due to someone's unfortunate illness, and then due to the needs of the Hagwon, I had to kind of be a substitute teacher for one semester where I just traveled around, and I did the first day of class every single day for an entire semester. So I think doing something that's out of my comfort zone every single day really pushed me to learn quickly about what works and what doesn't work.
And then also in the midst of that, you're also adjusting to like a completely new city environment, living. Also, I don't know if you were living on your own before you came out here.
No, I was living with my parents. I came straight out of university.
Did you kind of figure out how to work like the laundry machine and kind of pay your bills on time?
Actually, when I got all that stuff, I didn't know what to do. So I was just, okay, I'm going to go to the bank. And I went to my bank and they're like, oh, you can't do it here. You have to go to this bank. And I was like, oh, okay. So I pull out cash, I go to a different bank. And then their English was not that great, but they saw me with my bills, they saw me with money, and they're like, okay. The guy just grabbed me and just took me to the machine and just did it for me.
I guess how was like, do you think navigating through things in Korea is pretty easy or pretty hard?
It depends. I think for the majority, if you just keep an open mind and you have to, don't expect everything to be easy, right? Coming into an environment that has very limited English, also you're on your own, you do have help from others if you ask for it, but I kind of just figured it out. I just, oh, okay, this didn't work. Okay, I'll try something different. Did a lot of problem solving.
Was it a case that you had to figure things out on your own, or did you actually have someone that was kind of helpful?
I kind of had to figure things out on my own because my first school was quite small and my housing at the time was separate from other foreign teachers. We lived quite far from each other. So I was kind of just on my own and I had to figure it out. Like, for example, my first day of work, I was supposed to get on the correct bus, but I got on the wrong bus. And then I went across the river and I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do?
No, I've done that plenty of times too. Yeah, or miss like the subway stop, right?
Like, there are certain things I think everybody just goes through, and I think it's just everyone experiences it, and it's kind of just a checklist of problems that everyone has to figure out.
What about like navigating through like the public transportation, like the buses and subways?
Don't use Google Maps.
Yeah, don't use Google Maps.
I tried that when I first came here, and that's where a lot of problems come. You have to use the Korean apps and then make an account. When you make an account, you can change it to English. And once I figured that out, maybe after a month, it was so much easier.
I guess, were you able to make a lot of friends now?
Yes, I have teaching friends. I have just friends I've met just from being like out and social. I have game friends. And then, yeah, people are very inviting, especially if you're looking to meet like other foreign friends. Everyone's in the same position. Everyone's looking for friends. So it's a lot easier to meet that way. And then meeting Korean people, actually, they're really inviting and they want foreign friends as well. However, some people are quite shy to speak English. So right now I'm learning Korean, and since I've started studying Korean and using Korean in my dialogue with friends, building Korean relationships has actually gotten so much better and so much easier.
I think also learning like basic phrases. If there was like one thing that you could have done,
I definitely would have learned Korean early.
It's kind of like the basic like hello, goodbye, understanding the basic questions, ordering, right? I guess when you went into the workplace for the first time, interacting with like the Korean students, I guess, did you have a difficult time adapting to them, or are they kind of different than like, I don't know if you ever interacted with kids in the States?
Not as a teacher, but I think it was quite nerve-wracking interacting with Korean kids for the very first time, because you have limited communication, especially depending on the levels of their abilities and their age group. I found that like teaching the younger ones was much easier at the beginning, because it's just, they want to talk to you and you just want to like kind of hang out. And like, obviously teaching, but are new to foreigners. They want to see what you're like. So teaching the younger ones at the beginning was much
They're
easier.
fairly honest too. They're they're kind of honest about everything.
But overall, I think it was a good experience. Definitely, you have to be careful of what you say or how you say things, because what might come across as like fine in maybe American kids or like English native speaking kids, they don't have that context. They don't, especially like slang. They don't know any of that. So So what you say is what they're going to know exactly.
And what they're going to translate to their parents.
Yes, exactly.
Like the word crazy, like when you say like, oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
they'll translate it as like, oh, he's like crazy.
I think that's exactly one thing I said. It was like,
I think it's just a part of getting to like understand the Korean culture and then also kind of understanding the Hagwon culture too.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure you've worked jobs in America.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more free, I think. Definitely more open to opinions, right? I think in Korea it's a little bit more hierarchy.
Definitely.
System. It's not that one's bad or the other. I think it's just you have to understand it to navigate through it, right?
Yeah, one thing that I was actually a little bit new to me was that you don't call people just by their name, especially to the Korean staff. You say their English name and then teacher. So for example, teacher, director. But for foreign staff, I think is okay. But for Korean teachers, you definitely need to use the tag.
Yeah, and it's just because in Korean, like if it was just Koreans, it would be in that manner.
Yes.
So I think it's not so much, it's just something that's programmed into them where they know that it's not something where it's like disrespectful, but it's just kind of instinctively, they would kind of just feel it due to.
Also, simple things. When you walk into the office, you say hello to everyone. Just hello everyone, goodbye everyone. Right? It's a sign of just being polite. Just coming in, sitting down, it's also comes off as quite rude.
I guess what are some things that might have like was very surprising when you came out?
Surprising. I think everything. For example, just going out. Like I took a lot of time just going out just by myself and just exploring this city. I've been living in Seoul for the whole time. Like nightlife, restaurants, kids, I love going to the PC Bang. Like that was a completely new experience for me.
They have PC bangs in America too, no?
Not where I'm from. We don't have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think maybe
And like LA.
LA has, but Seattle we don't have. Like I always saw on like videos that like, wow, you could just pay to play. Like it's super cheap and you have food. So that was something I love.
Korea kind of has a big game culture here too, no?
Yeah, that's actually, I really recommend if you want to like stay here a long time, find something that you're interested in and then pursue that interest in Korea because there are many people that have that same interest and then you can meet people that way.
Do you think you can go back home after living in like such a big city?
Actually, I did go home last summer for vacation for about a month and I found it quite boring. Very slow pace, like you have to get in your car, drive. Oh, you have to plan stuff like 2 weeks ahead. It's super, just not convenient, not easy, and very slow. I actually enjoy the fast pace.
Have you had a chance to like look at different parts of Seoul? Have you done a lot of traveling around the city?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit. Living, like my first year I lived on the west side, then I lived on the far east side. Now I will be moving to like the Gangnam, Daechidong area. So I definitely recommend getting around.
I guess when you decided to finally, because you were at your previous Hagwon for a few years, right?
Yeah.
I guess what was the thing that made you want to now have a transition? I think a lot of teachers, when they hit a certain amount of years at one school, they hit either a certain plateau on salary or just kind of challenge, I guess.
Yeah, I think for me, ultimately, I want to like move to an international school because I want to continue pursuing teaching. I think this is what I'm good at. This is what I enjoy doing. So that's ultimately the goal. And so I spent 2 years just as a regular teacher. I spent my last year as head teacher for a year. But I found that I kind of felt stagnant in my growth as a teacher. I got stuck doing this one style that worked for me over and over and over. And it gets quite redundant and quite boring.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It did work. It made my prep time and the class time very simple. So I could spend a lot more time doing admin stuff, head teacher stuff. But if I want to grow and I want to pursue this goal, I need to get out of my comfort zone again and grow as a teacher, as a person.
This new position that you're going to be starting in mid-July, I guess what was it about that position that kind of showed the things that you were kind of looking for?
Yeah, I think doing a higher level of students. For example, they have to test to get into this school. Whereas my previous company, they accept everybody, right? You want to learn English? Okay, come here. So I think this next caliber of students is what's going to push me to be better. So I'm basically going to be a brand new teacher all over again. And I think that's quite exciting.
Also to a bigger company too. It's a growing company, the Hagwon that you're going to be going into. Plus the location is really good too, right? You were kind of working in Gangdong and then you went to like these not so much centrally like education-based areas. I think Daechidong will have a different vibe. Definitely pros and cons there too, don't get me wrong.
Oh, everywhere has a pros and cons.
I guess because now it's like your third year, going on your fourth year. If there was like one important advice that you can give to a teacher that's coming out here, because a lot of times they're going to be focused on like things that might seem important now. When you actually come out here, you realize the other things were a little bit more important to focus on, right? I guess what would be some important things that they should kind of focus on before they come out?
Before coming, I definitely recommend watching videos, doing a little bit of research. I didn't do research, so I think that also kind of hindered my ability going straight from the gate. But as soon as you arrive in Korea, I think the best thing you should always do, at least for the first 6 months, is just listen. Listen to the feedback that your head teacher or your students or your co-teacher, always just listen to what they say and keep a positive mindset. I think, especially for forward staff, being positive and trying your best, and people can see that, it goes a really long way.
I think it's also just trying your best, and even though it doesn't make sense at that time, to just kind of follow the process. And I think when you have a better understanding of the country, the culture here, that actually might make sense. You may not agree with it, right? But at least you'll understand it to be able to navigate through it, I think. I guess, have you had a chance to like look at other parts of Korea outside of Seoul?
Yeah, I've been all over. Busan, Jeju, Yangyang, Sokcho.
Have you gone to Jeju yet?
Yeah, I went to Jeju last summer, just for a short vacation. It was good, but it was annoying because every time I went to the beach, it started raining. Then I leave the beach, it's sunny again.
How did you get around? Did you have a car?
Yeah, my friend that I went, was a previous teacher at that company. He had a driver's license, so he rented a car and we just drove around together.
You know, if you have an American driver's license, you can change that for a Korean one. You know that, right?
Yeah, I actually did that. But for SoCar, like the cheaper version, you need to have the license for a year. Yes, you can change it. I do have a Korean license now.
Oh, then you could rent cars then.
Yeah.
Just a lot more comfortable when you want to go on trips.
Definitely.
What about like traveling to like other countries like Japan, Southeast Asia? It's very comfortable to travel to when you live in Korea too.
Yeah, I went to solo traveling to Tokyo. Very good, very also fast paced because I tried to do the whole city in like 4 days. So I just did walking. But then I also went to Hokkaido with a friend group and they could drive. So that would make it a lot easier since we were north. There's not a lot of public transportation, but definitely if you want to go to like Tokyo, hopefully I'll go to Osaka soon. But definitely the busy areas is quite easy.
It's a lot of walking. I went to Tokyo too. I think we did like 8 hours. I never had my calves hurt so much from so much walking in Tokyo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there's a lot to see. It's definitely a country that you want to visit.
I definitely recommend maybe doing Tokyo in 2 trips. Don't try to do the whole city in like a couple of days, I think.
And the vacation days for teachers, it's not really super long too, right?
Right, yeah, it's very limited. You do kind of have to be mindful of when do you take your vacation, especially if you want to take vacation around the Korean holidays. Just letting you know now, it's probably not going to happen. Those kind of days are usually reserved for Korean staff, but usually during like the middle of the semesters is probably the best time to take it.
Right. I guess it just depends on how the structure is for vacation days at your current school. What about like some culture shocks? Because when I first came out to Korea, like it's been a while now. Like back then they didn't have like the MBTI personality test.
Yeah.
They went by blood types.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Then when I came out here and this like someone just out of the blue asked me like, what's your blood type? I was like, what a weird question. It's like, but I guess are you into like the MBTI?
I mean, I'm not so much into it, but kids are really into it. All young kids say, well, that's one of the first things they'll ask you. What's your MBTI? And then it'll be like, oh, for example, I am INFP. And then the kids will be like, oh, me too, or I'm this. And so,
what about like the drinking culture here?
I like it. It's work hard, play hard. So, but also just, it's very comfortable just doing things by yourself. The culture also goes hand in hand with food. That's one thing that was a very culture shock. You can't just go to a restaurant and order a beer without food. So that was one thing I also didn't understand maybe like the first couple of weeks here.
What were some food that was kind of shocking to try, but then it actually tasted pretty good?
Sundae-gukbap. Like sundae soup and like gopchang, which is like pig.
Yeah, when you look at it, it doesn't look that appetizing, right?
But, yeah, pig intestine, like gopchang is probably one of my favorite foods.
Yeah, gopchang is, I know a place I can refer you.
Oh yeah, this also, around this area that we're at, there's a really famous like sunji haejangguk. So it's like congealed pork blood.
You're more Korean than I am. I guess what is one Korean food that people must try when they come out here?
Must try. I mean, always samgyeopsal, but I think more specifically, the really thin frozen samgyeopsal I think is a must try. And then sundae-gukbap is a must try.
Yeah, that's definitely good.
One of the best, like most favorite things after if you have a really tough day, find like a sundae-guk or a haejangguk restaurant, sit down, pull your phone out, watch some drama, and then get a bottle of soju. Like it's really Korean style, and actually it works. I believe it.
What about like Korea has 4 seasons, right? So
Yes.
you can enjoy different types of activities, I think. Have you gone snowboarding or?
Yeah, I've gone 3 times snowboarding snowboarding. It's actually quite efficient to get to the ones closer to Seoul. Is pretty easy to get to.
Gyeonggi,
Yeah, Gyeonggi I've been twice. I do recommend going to like
Phoenix Park,
yeah, Phoenix Park. I forget where it's with the
Gangwon-do.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to get there. You kind of have to like. I recommend having someone help you plan because you need to like book like shuttle buses and stuff like that. But definitely, if you want to go to like Gyeonggi, you could just take the train.
You can go like water sports too, like wakeboarding. I don't know if you tried that.
I haven't tried. I have friends that go usually every summer, but I haven't had the opportunity yet to go. But I want to.
You should go to Gapyeong.
Yeah, there's like a little lake, I think.
It's not a big. It's a big lake.
It's a big lake.
Yeah, there's a lot of different little spots that you can go to, and then it's like 25,000 won per run.
So I think I would definitely want to try that. That's one on my bucket list. Who's it? Spring, fall, always Han River.
Yeah, but spring and fall is like so short here. It's just winter and summer that dominates.
It's a race. Like you cannot waste time, especially in spring and fall. It's the best time of the year. Definitely. Yeah, don't waste time, especially in those seasons.
So I guess before we like finalize, why would you recommend coming to Korea for people that are watching?
One thing I could just biggest recommendation, if you know what you want to do, it's a great adventure. Nobody I've ever met has hated it. Everyone loves it. Everyone I've met, they get nervous, but then they come here and it's awesome. Everyone comes here for their own reasons, but everyone enjoys it. I've never met someone who didn't enjoy it.
And then also, if you can be lucky, you can actually find someone that you can share that with.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Irving. Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you again for taking the time to have this interview. And
yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today, and hope the information was helpful, and we'll be back with more videos. Thank you.